Imagine waking up to a quiet house, the kind where the coffee is still warm from breakfast, but your mom is gone. No note, no call, just an empty chair and a locked door. That's the nightmare Melissa Casias has lived every day since June 26, 2025. Her mother, Melissa, a loving wife, devoted mom, and hard-working lab tech, stepped out for what seemed like a normal afternoon and never came back. Surveillance cameras caught her walking alone on a dusty New Mexico highway, her figure fading into the horizon. What happened to Melissa Casias? This is a story that will haunt you, pulling you into the heart of family's unbreakable pain and the shadows of unanswered questions. It started like any other summer day in Ranchos de Taos, New Mexico, a small town nestled in the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, where the air smells of pine and the roads stretch out like veins through the desert. But on that fateful Wednesday, June 26, 2025, something went terribly wrong. Melissa Casias, 53 years old, 5 feet 4 inches tall, with warm brown eyes and a kind smile, was last seen walking eastbound on Highway 518 near Talpa. It was around 2:15 p.m., and a doorbell camera at a nearby home captured her image. A woman in a light-colored shirt, blue jeans, and light shoes, possibly carrying a small backpack. She looked determined, her steps steady, as she headed toward the rugged Carson National Forest. What makes this so disturbing? Melissa wasn't the type to just wander off. She had left everything behind. Her car parked neatly in the driveway, her keys on the kitchen table, her purse, wallet, cash, and even a paycheck from her job at Los Alamos National Laboratory, LANL. But the real chill comes from her 2 phones. Both her work phone and personal cell had been wiped clean, reset to factory settings. Who does that before stepping out? And why? A family friend spotted her too, driving by and waving, but she didn't wave back. She just kept walking, as if she was leaving her old life behind. Highway 518 is a lonely stretch, flanked by forests and drop-offs, where cell service fades and help is miles away. Did she vanish into the woods? Or was someone waiting for her? This hook pulls you in because it's not just a missing person. It's a puzzle with pieces that don't fit, hinting at secrets buried deep. The footage from the Taos Plaza earlier that day adds to the unease. Around 12:50 p.m., Melissa had driven to her daughter Sierra's workplace, a small shop in the bustling plaza. She handed over a Subway sandwich, chatted briefly, and smiled. Cameras there caught her leaving, looking relaxed. But by 2 p.m., she was miles away on foot on that highway. No car, no ride, just her. The New Mexico State Police and MSB released a video, hoping for tips, but it only sparked more questions. Was she running from something or toward it? This disturbing start sets the stage for a mystery that grips the nation, where every frame feels like a clue to a darker truth. Behind every disappearance lies a life that seemed perfectly ordinary, at least on the surface. Melissa Casias was the glue holding her family together. Married to Mark for over 30 years, they both worked at LANL, the famous national lab in Los Alamos, where Melissa handled sensitive research as a technician. It was a stable job, one that paid well and let her come home to her cozy house in Ranchos de Taos. Friends describe her as warm and reliable, the kind of woman who remembered birthdays and baked cookies for neighborhood kids. Melissa and Mark's life looked like a postcard of domestic bliss. They had raised their daughter Sierra, now in her 20s, in this tight-knit community. Weekends were for archery competitions. Melissa was passionate about it, her left arm tattooed with a bow and arrow as a badge of honor. She had a dream catcher on her shoulder and a fierce dragon on her ankle, reminders of her adventurous spirit. She was planning a family lake trip that summer and had even scheduled time off to help her own mother recover from knee surgery. Mom was always there, Sierra later told reporters, her voice cracking. She was the one who made sure we had dinner on the table and laughs in the house. Mark, a fellow lab worker, seemed devoted too. That morning, Melissa dropped him off at work around 6:15 a.m., forgetting her badge in the rush. She drove back home by 7:45 a.m., texted him about working from home, and everything seemed fine. No arguments, no red flags. The family home was modest but loving. Photos of archery wins on walls, a garden out back where Melissa grew herbs. Neighbors waved as she drove by, and she waved back. It was a facade of a normal life. Bills paid on time, mostly. Family dinners and quiet evenings watching the mountains turn gold at sunset. But even in this picture-perfect setup, there were tiny cracks. Financial stress had crept in. Sierra had been in a car accident recently, and the settlement was dragging. Bills piled up on the kitchen counter. Melissa complained about work pressure at the lab, the long drives, the secrecy of her job. Still, she powered through, hiding any worries behind her smile. This domestic world made her vanishing all the more shocking. How does a woman who has everything to live for just disappear? It shatters the illusion that safety is found in routine, leaving us to wonder what lurks beneath the surface of even the happiest homes. As the days before June 26 unfolded, subtle signs pointed to a downward spiral that no one saw coming. Melissa's life, once steady, began to fray at the edges. At LNL, the pressure was mounting. The lab deals with cutting-edge science, nuclear research, experiments that demand precision and silence. Melissa's role involved handling data and equipment, but rumors swirled about budget cuts and job insecurity. She was tired, a co-worker anonymously shared. Long hours, commuting from Taos to Los Alamos every day. That's over an hour each way on winding roads. Home life added to the weight. Sierra's car crash had left the family in debt. Insurance fights dragged on and medical bills stacked up. Melissa, ever the fixer, was handling it all, paying extra, skipping her own archery gear upgrades. Her mother's upcoming surgery meant more time off work, more stress. Friends noticed she was quiet at the range, her shots less sharp. She missed a competition that week. One said she had a headache. Was it burnout? Or something deeper, like hidden depression? The spiral quickened on Disappearance Day. After dropping Mark off, Melissa returned home, but instead of settling in, she seemed restless. Texts to Mark were short. Forgot badge, working from home. By noon, she was out again, grabbing that subway for Sierra, a small act of love amid the chaos. But witnesses in Taos Plaza said she looked distracted, checking her phone more than usual. Then, somehow, she ended up on Highway 518, miles from home, on foot. Did she hitch a ride? Walk the whole way? The distance doesn't add up. It's a 10-mile trek from her house. Financial records later showed odd activity. Small withdrawals, nothing major, but enough to suggest worry. Her personal phone had search history, before the wipe, about starting over, and New Mexico hiking trails. The lab confirmed she called out sick that day, but her work email was cleared too. This spiral wasn't dramatic, no big fights or breakdowns, but a slow unraveling. Stress from work, family debts, and perhaps unspoken personal struggles pushed her toward that highway. It builds attention. Was this a cry for help, or the beginning of something sinister? The downward pull makes you feel the weight she carried, alone. The clock ticked past 3 p.m., and Sierra came home from work, expecting to find her mom in the kitchen, maybe prepping dinner. Instead, the front door was locked, a detail that chilled everyone. Sierra used her key to enter, calling out, "Mom?" Silence. The car sat in the driveway, untouched. On the table, keys, purse, wallet with cash inside, a paycheck uncashed. In the office, both phones, work and personal, sat powered off, reset to factory defaults. No apps, no contacts, no history. It was as if Melissa had erased herself. Sierra's heart sank. She called Mark immediately. He rushed home from the lab, arriving frantic. By 5 p.m., they reported her missing to NMSB. The devastating reveal hit like a storm. Melissa hadn't just stepped out. She prepared to vanish. The locked door suggested she did it from inside. No forced entry. The white phone screamed intentional. Why would she do that? Sierra sobbed the police. Searches began that night. Family, friends combing the neighborhood. By morning, it escalated. Taos Search and Rescue, K, 9 units, drones over 283 acres of Carson National Forest. Nothing. No backpack, no signs of struggle. The highway footage was the gut punch. Released days later, it showed Melissa walking purposefully, not lost or scared. A blue Dodge truck rumor surfaced. Someone following her? But police cleared it. Bank records showed no activity. Her lab access was revoked, but colleagues whispered about sensitive projects. The reveal devastated the family. Was it suicide in the woods? Abduction? Or did Melissa stage it all? Mark cooperated fully, polygraph and all, but suspicion lingered. Sierra found a note? No, just the emptiness. This moment shatters illusions, revealing the raw horror of loss. A mother erased, leaving only questions that cut deep. Weeks turned to months, and the investigation debrief painted a grim picture. NMSB led the charge, interviewing hundreds, reviewing every camera from Taos to the highway. No vehicle matches, no body in the forest. Theories exploded. Voluntary walkaway, fueled by the wiped phones and her steady walk. Foul play, perhaps a random pickup on 518. Accident, tumbling into a ravine. Darker ones whispered domestic issues or lab secrets. Leon's history with classified work sparked conspiracies online. Was she silenced? Forums buzzed. Public reaction was a tidal wave. Taos rallied. Vigils at the highway. Flyers everywhere. The archery community, Melissa's second family, offered $5,000 rewards alongside Crime Stoppers' $2,500. Social media lit up. Hashtag Find Melissa Casias trended, with thousands sharing her photo. News outlets from KOAT to NBC Dateline covered it, humanizing her as the missing mom of Taos. Sierra became the voice, pleading on YouTube. Mom, if you're out there, come home. But frustration grew. No arrests, no breakthroughs. As of September 2025, she's still missing, her case active but cold. The debrief exposes the system's limits. Searches cost thousands, but rugged terrain hides secrets. Public outrage pushed tips. Over 200 calls, but most led nowhere. It united a community, yet highlighted divides. Rural New Mexico's isolation versus urban media frenzy. Reactions range from empathy to speculation, with podcasts dissecting every angle. This section closes a loop, showing how one woman's vanishing ripples outward, demanding justice. Throughout this tale, the emotions build like a storm over the mountains, starting with quiet worry, escalating to gut-wrenching fear, and peaking in raw grief. Feel Sierra's confusion finding that locked door, Mark's helplessness at work, the community's shared ache at vigils. Each clue, the sandwich, the footage, the empty phones, layers on despair, making you question trust in loved ones. It's not just facts. It's a human heart breaking, urging you to wonder, could this happen to anyone? The build-up tugs at your soul, blending hope for answers with the terror of the unknown. Melissa Casias walked into the horizon on Highway 518, but her story walks with us still. A mother, a fighter, a mystery unsolved. If you know something, anything, call NMSB at 505-425-6771. For Sierra, for the family holding vigil, bring her home, because in the quiet of Taos nights, the question echoes, was she still out there, waiting to be found? Don't let her fade away.
Like and subscribe.